Hello, it's Rebecca from Adventures in Nutrition. I hope you are doing well. Today I was thinking about something in my own life that kind of has some parallels along the lines of what we talk about on this channel, which is reaching a healthy weight and wanting to get there quickly and not wanting to relax into it, not knowing how to relax into it, not knowing that it's something that we should relax into, not knowing that with every bone in our body that we want it more than anything in this world, that actually wanting can actually prevent us from actually realizing that goal that we're actually trying to achieve. I've said in another video that I've often thought, it was years ago, but I had often thought, if I could just wake up then, like, why do I have to go through this agony of being overweight, of going and looking at the scale, of always monitoring what I ate, of always thinking about it. And as you can hear from the words that I'm using, I associated a lot of pain, I guess, if you will, with actually doing these things. Then it dawned on me probably maybe a year ago, when I actually thought, physiologically there are reasons why we can't just wake up then. I mean, short of, some kind of plastic surgery or liposuction or something. I mean, we're not talking about that. I'm just talking about if you go through the natural steps of a caloric deficit and you learn about nutrition and all of those things. If we could do it, would we know how to take care of that person to prevent ourselves from becoming that way again? And the odds are it's probably not. Probably not. Okay, this isn't the first time I've said this, but let's think of it this way. Let's think about money for a second. Just hang with me for a second. I'm not a financial coach or any of that stuff, but there are some parallels there. Have you ever noticed, maybe you've never been in the situation where you really needed money, or you thought you did, because there have been lots of things that I've convinced myself that I needed that I truly just didn't. But have you ever been in the position where you really needed money and maybe you went to a bank and they said, yeah, that's not happening because you're maxed out? This happened to me like way back in the 90s when I was really young and I didn't know anything about managing finances. And then later I worked in a big bank, and then I thought to myself, why do all of the wealthy people, they don't even need money, and they get money. They get point reductions for loans, they get special financing for houses. Or have you ever watched the HGTV show of My Lottery Dream Home, which I love the host. I mean, he's just adorable, right? Where he asks the lottery winners always, what did you do? Tell me about the circumstances about when you went in to buy the lottery ticket. And you never, I have yet to date to hear a person go, oh my God, I needed the money so badly. You have no idea. The person, I haven't heard a show where they said that. They almost always say, 100% of the time, this is what I've heard, I just went in on a random day and thought to play. It doesn't mean that they didn't need it, but the desperation wasn't there. Does that make sense? So in my own personal life, I have thought long and hard about what happens when we desperately want something. Why does it seem to become more elusive? The more we focus on it, the more we want it. We believe that we're doing the right things, we're doing the right work, and it just doesn't happen that way. When I was in New Jersey, and there were a lot of things going on, and I was really, how should we say? I was really worried about a current situation that I was going through at the time. To bury that pain, I did two things. I ate and I shot. So needless to say, I got myself into quite a jam when it came to credit card debt. And I wasn't responsible, clearly. There were some things going on. It's no one's fault. I had to take responsibility that I had to pay all of that money back. So I took a couple of courses and learned about money beliefs and all of these different things in abundance. And I worked my way through, and I kept thinking, not lying to myself, because if you BS the brain, believe me, it will call BS. You cannot try to convince yourself in your brain of things that are not even technically true. What you can do is try to right the ship to go in a different direction, to where your brain goes, okay, I can get on board with that. This is not about telling yourself lies to try to make something true. What I ended up doing was doing a lot of work around abundance, seeing abundance everywhere. In the course, they talked about giving things away, and I was uneasy because I didn't feel like there was enough money to give things away. And then sometimes I couldn't even give something away because the person wouldn't accept it. So then that was a whole different thing of, why is this person not accepting my gift? I don't understand. So I thought later, as we've paid down massive amounts of debt, probably $30,000 worth of, that's how much damage. I'm embarrassed to tell you that, but that's what I did. I ate and I chopped. I did it. But when we started to pay down the debt, I started to, I vibrationally spent money. I did this exercise where I went into stores and I said, I had this $100 and I went into a store to look at all of the different ways that I could spend this $100 in cash. And it was interesting because later we went back to the store, for Christmas time, even to get to $30 or $50 or whatever the amount was. I was looking around the store thinking, there is absolutely nothing that I need here. How did this happen? How did I get to the place where I could be in a store like Bed Bath & Beyond? Of course, they don't want me to tell you this. Nobody ever wants you to get to this place where you could be in the store and be like, if I need it, I will purchase it. If there is a place in my life where I can use it, absolutely, let's get it. So it was interesting to me that as I paid down this massive debt, now all of a sudden, a credit card limit that hasn't been increased in maybe 10 years, it's oh, here's another, several $1,000s for your credit limit. Where was this 5 years ago? Where was this 5 years ago? But see, that's how things work. I could find example after example. Now, things have always worked out. Things work in the just-in-time. You ever heard of the JIT system in business? The just-in-time. That's the way things work. They are there just in time. But sometimes when we desperately want something, we want to lose 50 pounds or 70 pounds or 100 pounds, and we make headway, and then we get so focused on that goal that we start to lose sight of what's really important. And what's really important is the way we felt. It's what we're learning. The lessons that we learn in that moment. Okay, I'm really feeling really vulnerable right here because it's what I thought about this morning. I thought, thank you for the lessons, because if I had gotten an inheritance and could have paid everything off, or we bought a scratcher or something and won $1 million, and that way we paid everything off, I might not have learned the lessons of what it was to confront that debt and feel what it felt like to happily write checks and happily liquidate accounts. It wasn't like that in the beginning, but that's what I had to learn. And I needed to learn that so I don't go back there, It's the same thing with weight loss. Those are the things that we have to absolutely, unequivocally, that's a word, right? Tongue twister word. Unequivocally learn, is to just relax into it. I'm on the right path. Things are working out. Going the right direction. I'm figuring this out. This is getting easier every day. The lessons I'm learning and the takeaways, the things I'm learning about my body and nutrition and how I feel every single day is so much more important. I want what I want, and it's okay to want that. It's beautiful to want to be in a healthy body and lose 50 pounds, 70 pounds. Even if it's 20 pounds, I'm not the one that you want to hire if you've only got 20 pounds. But that's a beautiful thing. And that's what I want you to know today is we do have goals. And it's okay to work towards them. But don't hang on to it so tightly that you squeeze the life out of it so that there's no room left to breathe. And enjoy the journey and enjoy the things that can be learned along the way so that you don't go back in that direction. That's the thing that we have to do the work around. And I really don't know if I like the word work because we have such odd feelings around the term work. Oh, if it's work, I don't want to do it. No, the lessons, the things that we can learn to delight in, and as opposed to dreading the process. That's not where we want to be. Overweight is probably what you said you didn't want to be. So figure out a way to work towards that goal and feel beautiful while you're doing it. And always know that there are beautiful and intense and deep things that you will learn along the way that you will never, ever, ever forget. That's my message for you today. Whew.